Long ago and far away, in enchanted lands across the seas, lived kings and queens, princes and princesses, good fairies and wicked witches, ferocious giants and gentle dwarfs. Their adventures and stories have been told for hundreds of years. Open the pages and listen to the words, and you too can join the magical world of Once Upon a Time.
Little Red Riding Hood. Once upon a time, there was a very, very pretty little girl called whatever little girls are called. Mary, Jessica, Hannah, Lucy. But no one remembered her real name because everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. She'd been given the nickname because she always wore a little cloak with a red hood that her grandmother had given her. The cloak was made of the most beautiful red velvet, and when the little girl put it on, she was envied by all of her friends. Little Red Riding Hood lived with her mother in a very tiny village that was just on the edge of a great big wood. Little Red Riding Hood was a good little girl, but she was very lively, and her high spirits sometimes got her into trouble. She was always collecting flowers or chasing butterflies in the woods. She loved animals and never forgot to give a sugar lump to the cart horses or a carrot to the goats. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's grandmother caught a cold. Her mother made a strawberry tart and put it in a basket with a jar of jam. She called Little Red Riding Hood into the house. "Your grandmother isn't feeling very well," she told her, "so I've baked a tart for her and packed some jam. Now you take this basket and go straight to your granny's house. It'll cheer her up to see you." The grandmother lived in a cottage right in the middle of the wood, but Little Red Riding Hood wasn't at all frightened of walking through the wood. Little Red Riding Hood thought this was a grand job. She loved her grandmother so much that she always wore the cloak she'd given her, and anyway, she was looking forward to sharing the tart and jam with her. As she set off, her mother called after her, "No stopping to talk to strangers on the way. You be sure to go straight there." Little Red Riding Hood hurried along with the basket over her arm. It was a beautiful day, and the woodland was bursting with birdsong and colour. The rabbits and squirrels and all the wild animals of the forest seemed to be scampering around, enjoying the sunshine. The little girl had never seen so many gorgeous butterflies filling the air, but she kept her mind on her task and didn't even stop to admire their pretty colours. She certainly didn't want to disobey her mother, so she just kept going, not stopping even when she began to get an empty feeling in her tummy. She cheered herself up by thinking she would soon be sharing the tasty tart with her granny. Little Red Riding Hood had managed to resist the colourful butterflies that looked to her just like beautiful flowers on wings, but she couldn't resist the lovely flowers that were growing all around her, as far as the eye could see. "Granny would love a bunch of pretty flowers to brighten up her cottage," she thought, and wandered off the path to pick a few. Every time she knelt to pick a flower, she saw an even prettier one a little further away. She strayed further and further from the path, and she didn't even notice a wolf watching her from behind a tree. This wolf had an enormous mouth, filled with lots of sharp teeth, and a hungry, sly look about him. He licked his lips when he saw the pretty little girl gathering flowers. The wolf knew he looked frightening, but he was crafty, and thought to himself, I'll be polite and friendly so as not to alarm this tasty-looking little girl.
Lovely little girl, may I introduce myself?
The wolf asked Little Red Riding Hood.
A big bad wolf at your service.
Little Red Riding Hood remembered her mother's warning and told the wolf firmly that she never talked to strangers.
But I'm no longer a stranger,
replied the crafty old wolf.
I've already told you my name. Now you should tell me yours.
Little Red Riding Hood thought about this, and then she told him her name. She forgot all about not talking to strangers, and she told the wolf where she was going and who she was going to see. As soon as the wolf found out where the little girl was heading, he thought, "If I'm very clever, I might be able to eat Granny for my tea as well as this tender little girl."
What a beautiful posy of flowers,
he said to Little Red Riding Hood.
I'm sure your granny will love them. But have you seen the special flowers that grow just beyond that tree?
Then, as the little girl wandered even further from the path to look for these flowers, the wolf raced off to the grandmother's cottage. Little Red Riding Hood carried on picking the flowers.
How very kind of the wolf to tell me where the special flowers are, she thought.
Little Red Riding Hood had got herself into a fine mess. Without realizing, she had fallen straight into the wolf's trap. Of course, the greedy wolf wasn't interested in the flowers at all. He just wanted to be sure he reached the cottage first, so he could wait for the little girl and give her a nasty surprise. The wolf soon reached the old lady's house, where he began to put his plan into action. He knocked on the door and called out,
It's Little Red Riding Hood, Granny.
The grandmother was suspicious. That wasn't her granddaughter's voice. But the door was open, and before she could even call out for help, the wolf came in and swallowed the poor old grandmother whole. He didn't like the taste of the old lady much, but at least he'd got her out of the way. He put on her bonnet and glasses and got into bed to wait for the little girl. The greedy wolf could already feel his mouth watering, his great big mouth. He was sure that Little Red Riding Hood was going to be a tasty dinner. It was worth making himself look stupid, dressed up with this bonnet on his head and the grandmother's glasses perched on his big nose. Because he had gobbled up the poor old grandmother, his stomach was full, and he fell into a deep sleep very soon. As soon as he was sleeping, he started snoring very loudly. He slept for hours and hours, and when he woke up, he looked at the clock.
It's getting late.
"Where is Red Riding Hood?" he said to himself. He started getting very impatient.
It's time to turn over to side 2.